Hey everybody, we are continuing our series on rhythm patterns, and today we are going to be going over our 7-note rhythm pattern played over our second chord progression. So we start off all these videos in the key of C, so the first step is to go over our C major scale. So that is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then we use the number system and apply numbers to that major scale. So with numbers, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And then we use chords to play over that major scale. So the first chord is a C chord. Second chord is a minor. That's a D minor or a 2 minor. Our third chord is a slash chord. So it's a C over E or a 1 over 3. Fourth chord is an F. Our fifth chord is a G. Our sixth chord is another minor, so that's A minor. And then our seventh chord is a slash chord, so that's a 5 over 7 or a G over B. And then our last chord is a 1. So if you play those together. But I don't really like playing it like that because it doesn't sound very good. So that's the reason why we came up with these 5 separate chord progressions to play in place of that major scale progression. So the second chord progression. Have you ever wanted to learn how to play your favorite worship songs on piano? Well, I have something that's perfect for you. It's called Worship Piano Academy. It's an online space to help people of all skill levels learn to play worship piano exactly like the pros do. It's packed full of simple techniques that are easy to follow and tailored specifically for worship piano players. If you're brand new to piano, we have all the basic lessons to get you on track. If you've been playing for a while, we have tons of advanced lessons and tips for you too. So check out worshippianoacademy.com. Your right hand, it's probably the easiest one because your right hand just stays in the C root position, and all you're doing is bouncing between the C sus4 or a C4 and then a C2 and the C. And so you just play those 3 chords as your bass note walks up that major scale. So here would be your 1 chord. Your 2 minor, instead of a D minor, we play it as a C4 over that D bass. And then our third chord is a C over E. And then our fourth chord, instead of an F, we play it as a C4 over an F. And then instead of a G, we play a C2 over a G. And then our 6 minor, instead of the A minor, it's a C over A. And then our 5 over 7, we play that as a C2 over B. And then you end it on the 1. So if you play those together. That. And so that 7-note rhythm pattern that we're going to play over this progression, it's 7 notes and we use 16th notes to play it. So you start 16th notes off basically with quarter notes because that's kind of the baseline of how we get to 16th notes. So a quarter note just means that there's 4 quarter notes inside a measure of music. And so you count it 1, 2, 3, 4. An 8th note would be double that. And so it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then a 16th note would be double that. And so it's 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So that's how we're going to play this rhythm pattern. And so it's 7 notes, and you play it, if your chord is on the 1, then your rhythm pattern is going to be after the 3. So it would be E and a, 4, E and a. So that's 7 notes going into the next chord. And so that what that rhythm pattern is, it's with your right hand, it's the first and last note of whatever chord you're playing. So in this situation, our first and last note is always going to be a C and a G because the middle note is just bouncing between these 3 notes. And so it's always going to be your C and your G for this progression. And then for the bottom note, as you walk up the major scale, it'll be the top note as you walk up, and then it'll be with your second finger, it'll be the 5th note going into the next chord. So it's kind of similar to the 5-note rhythm pattern where we just focused on your left hand and you just walked up. The only caveat is when you get to your 1 over 3 and your 5 over 7, those are both slash chords. And so you're basically playing a slash chord with your left hand. So it's a C over E. And so you play the C with your second finger and then the E bass with your other 2 fingers. Same thing when you get to the G over B, your second finger is playing the G and then your bass note's on the B. So those are the only 2 chords where your second finger is not playing the 5th note, but every other chord, it's the 5th note of the next chord. And so if we play this rhythm pattern with the chord, so it would be 1, 2, 3, and then E and 4, E and 3 E and 4 E and 2 3 E and 4 E and 1 2 3 E and 4 E and 1 2 3 E and 4 E and 1 2 3 E and 4 E and you end it. So let's speed this up a little bit. So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1, like that. And then let's do it where we have a chord change on the 1 and the 3 beat. So in that case, we're pretty much going to have rhythm going through the whole thing. So let's try it. So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, like that. And so if you notice, when with my left hand, when I play it, instead of doing an octave bass notes, I'll just do my left finger, and then I'll quickly start the rhythm pattern with my thumb, kind of like that. So it's personal preference. If you wanted to hit both notes and then quickly hit that one, that's totally fine. So whatever works for you. But for me, I like doing this single note like that. So now let's keep a chord change on the 1 beat, and then let's add quarter note rhythm hits with our right hand on the 2 and 3 that will lead into that rhythm pattern going into the next chord change. So 1 2 3 go and walk down. Like that. And so once you get this where you can walk all the way up and down that progression, make sure you change up your chords and pick chords that are inside this progression but have some movement between them, so you're not just walking up and down. So let's do that. We'll do the same progression that we did before. So it's a 4 1 5 6. We'll play that a couple times, and then we'll jump around to some different chords inside this progression. And so once you get this in the key of C and you can work your way up and down the major scale, you can jump around to different chords inside that major scale. Make sure you focus on all the other 12 keys, because incorporating the other keys with this rhythm pattern and with all the other rhythm patterns is going to make you a much better piano player. So we'll do that. We'll start in C and we'll work our way through the other 12 keys. D. And then E. And F. G. down here. And then B. Now let's do the sharps and flats. We'll do C sharp. And then E flat. And then F sharp. And then G sharp. And then B flat. Like that. So work on that, and then I'll see you in the next lesson.